Hello programmers, I just thought I'd record a very quick devlog here. So what you're watching right now is a demo of rendering various UI elements. I mean like 2D graphics, right, in my windowing system, right? This is one window here inside my operating system with the red and green edges. This is a texture that has been rendered to textured, and then I've rendered it at various points on the screen. This one is scaled larger. This rectangle here is a fill rect command. This is a character that I've drawn with the draw character command using the kernel font. Hold on, there's a little smudge on my screen. I want to get rid of it. Oh crap. Well, just use my shirt. And then there's some text. Right, I wrote some pretty random text there. This little thing here, this is testing line rendering. This line here is also testing line rendering. This is using DDA. It's not the Brazenham line algorithm. This is DDA. I think DDA is probably faster on the virtual machine anyway. This here is rendering a bitmap that I drew in the source code. If I scroll up here, I drew this bitmap here inside the source code, and then I render it down here. Anyway, so this is an example of a tiny little graphical application inside the OS, right? It doesn't look very impressive or anything, you know. Oh yeah, by the way, that's the cursor on screen right there, the white thing. The system has a cursor, right? So anyway, it works properly if I run it on Windows natively. Let me get pulled out of chef. The thing is, Windows subsystem for Linux is a little busted, and that's where I'm doing the programming. Just a little bit. But things work properly if I use Windows native. Yeah, right. So now I have my cursor rendering popularity. You see that the Windows cursor is hidden, and only the OS cursor is rendering. The Phobos Workstation cursor, right? Now, as you can see here, right, here's the line test. Here's the text test. This is a character. This is a fill rect that I did. It just so happens to be aligned with the character, but the character there is actually a blank spot right there. You know, it's not. This fill rect is not like this part of the character command. You know, these things are rendered with the exact same command as this. This is copying. This is blitting a texture, I believe. Let me look at the code. Yeah, these two are blits, which you basically mem copy rows at a time, and then this one is drawn scaled. That's this thing here. It's scaled 2 times in the X dimension and 3 times in the Y dimension, I believe. I do have that right. What are these parameters? Let me look. Kchar, this is the thing that renders character, that's text. Yeah, flip X and flip Y. Okay, so it's flipping the X and the Y too, right? So by the way, those are extra things, right? You can flip the X and Y when you render a texture. I don't have that implemented for bitmaps. I don't think it's necessary, but you know, I guess I could if I wanted to. But anyway, this is a cool demo I made, right? It's so anyway, this is the state of the operating system, right? By the way, oh yes, I did want to check something, right? I know this isn't related to the video. Okay, yes, I can test mouse locked. Okay, good. And then if I was thinking about this earlier. The thing is, right now I'm thinking about how I'm going to do the UI library. That's the very next thing, right? Now that I've completed bitmap rendering, I can do the UI library. Right, so actually, let's create the UI library right now. Let's put in a guard. There we go. Right. There we go. Anyway, so that's the current state of the project. Now I do want to talk about a little bit about the plans for the project. So hold on, let's go to planning. So the plans for the OS project. Oh, hold on. I deleted my text there. So first of all, I need to write the UI library. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow drawing buttons, text boxes, editable, question mark. Do I actually like write a full text editor? You know, I guess I could, right? Checkboxes, sliders, progress bars. It should obey system theming for elements, right? Sort of like Qt or something. Actually, I'm not sure. Does Qt have system theming? I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does, but like you know how on Windows you can you can set system theme and have apps be in dark mode and stuff. I'd like to have rendering of UI elements obey that. Render window decorations. So notably, the window top right buttons, like in Windows, these things. And I'd actually like it to handle user input on UI elements. It should also have a signal for whether or not the mouse, whether or not keyboard/mouse inputs should go to, should be handled by the also I want it to automatically handle window resizing. Alright, so I want to handle that. After I have the UI library done, I want to write a desktop program. So basically it's going to render the desktop background. It'll also load kernel system configuration. I think it'll also be responsible for launching startup applications. It should probably have some sort of taskbar on it. You know, like one of these things. Although I don't know, right? I've thought quite a bit about the taskbar situation. How do I render minimized windows? Right, so that's actually a good question. The thing is, do user and applications need to talk to the desktop program by IPC to like send their icon, right? That's actually a good question, you know. I also like animated desktop wallpapers. So basically, okay, let me look at. So basically, there's this program called ZSNES, right? And look at this. Look, it's like rendering water in the background. That's fucking awesome. So I was thinking, what if I made it so that my desktop wallpaper could be something like this? Wouldn't that be awesome, right? So I'd like to be able to, you know, and by the way, there's actually like, there's other things you can choose, right? Like you could choose smoke here. That's freaking awesome, dude. You can also choose snow. That's the famous one. Everyone loves snow. I think that people generally find this one their favorite. And then there's also like, oh, we clicked the wrong thing. GUI options. There's also like, okay, so there's fire. Wait, why isn't it working? Oh, is it working now? Yeah, it's working now. Okay, it just took a moment to show up. It actually looks more like bubbles, right? And I'd like bubbles to be another option, right? So basically, I'd like to do something like this, you know, for the desktop background, right? Because I think that's freaking awesome, dude. Then there's water V. This is like water droplets falling on water. I think this is awesome. So I'd like to have something like this in my as an option to my desktop program, right? I'd like them to be programmable somehow. You know, I don't know, right? I think that's a bad idea, but you know, I could, right? Nah, I probably shouldn't make it programmable. I should just make it like, you know, it's either a still image or it's one of a pre-selected bunch of animations, kind of like ZSNES. Probably, right? I mean, I could make it have an assembler in it, but that would be bloat. That would be bloat. After I write a desktop program, I need various utilities. File manager. I also want to write a terminal emulator, right? So basically, if I go to the source code, so basically, you can see here, put jar, and then somewhere around here is get char. Let's get char. Oh, here it is. What I want to do is I want to make it so that the kernel can be put in a mode whereby this thing and this thing are tied to a ring buffer, and there should be a way to write characters into the ring buffer that would be read instead of real get char, and then there should be a way to write to read from the ring buffer that put char writes to, right? And so basically this would create a sort of virtual put char and get char that I could write a terminal emulator to interact with. It would mean that basically the kernel has one hard-coded TTY in it. On top of the terminal, I need a system settings. I'd also like a PPM image viewer, a PCM WAV player. I think that it would be cool if I had visualizations, question mark. I should at least do like animations. What else? I should also have some games, and I also wanted to write a 3D triangle rasterization demo. Yeah, by the way, guys, so... Oh, hold on. Yesterday or the day before or something, I was talking to ChatGPT, and basically what I did is I got it to create for me a tiny little demo of how to do near plane clipping in a triangle rasterizer. And so basically what this does is that this is code, by the way, is written by AI. It's not in the code base. None of Phobos Workstation is written by AI. I just use AI to like write example code for me, so that I can look at this and understand what's happening and figure out how it works. Right? I got AI to write me an example of how to do near plane clipping. And actually, the thing is, I think I should be able to do a version of this for all the sides of the clipping volume, right? Because it's just negative W, positive W in each of the dimensions. If I want to, right? I'm not actually sure that I want to. It's just an option, right? I also wanted to do a ray tracer, right? So I wanted to have some way of rendering really cool, like really cool 90s style ray tracing images, right? Like, you know, if I look up retro ray tracing, do I get those images? Oh yeah, cool shit like this, right? Stuff is freaking awesome. You know, why don't video games look like this? Instead, they just look like shit. You know, like if you look at, hold on. 90s ray tracing. Right, so, you know, why don't video games look like this, right? Like these awesome, crisp shadows and stuff, you know? And I know that PBR has replaced Phong mostly, but, like, I don't know, Phong still looks better to me. I like it. I just like it, you know. And then there's awesome stuff like this that you'd see on like, you know. I just want to write a ray tracer for the operating system, and what it should do is it should have like scene descriptions or something. Oh, this is that thing where that guy wrote the ray tracer for the Super Nintendo. Well, it's not really for the Super Nintendo. He made like a special chip that you basically plug into the Super Nintendo. Anyway, so I'd like a ray tracer in the system. In terms of games, I was thinking, you know, how about chess, right? Every operating system needs a chess. Why not Reverse E? I actually like Reverse E. For only $9.99. And Reverse E, you know, every operating system needs Reverse E, of course. Do I have Reverse E? No. Fuck. Microsoft let me down. Other little games. So, for instance, I could make Snake and Pac-Man and shit. Snake, Pac-Man, whatever. I mean, like, Pac-Man is a little harder than Snake, but, you know, I don't think it would actually be that hard. I could also make, like, a tiny dungeon crawler. I don't know. Anyway, other things that I think the system needs. Anyways, and, you know, just have more ideas for utilities over time, right? Now, here's the thing, right? If I have the terminal, I probably, I can just use ED, right? So, you know, I have a text editor that works on the terminal, you know, and the operating system already works with it. So as long as I have a terminal emulator in the OS, then, you know, and then, by the way, it renders tabs and shit. You know, see, and it does alignment and stuff. It doesn't do, like, highlighting or anything. But, you know, it does work, right? By the way, if I hit, like, Control-Z, that'll type an invalid character, right? Yeah, I should make undo at some point. I just haven't. Oh, that's not where I do. Why did that take so long? Why did copying those files take so long? Okay, well, anyway, so I just wanted to write little utilities, right? I also want to finally actually, you know, and by the way, something I was thinking of doing was porting Coder's Basilisk. By the way, for the terminal, I need ANSI features enough to run ED. Hopefully more than that. I also need ring buffer implementation of virtual TTY, not using actual char/get_char. So, you know, in the kernel. Anyway, so this is roughly the plan, right? By the way, in terms of porting Coder's Basilisk, what I'm talking about here is that I would write a sort of, I would take Coder's Basilisk and I would rewrite it to work on top of TPCPU, right? I would make a 64-bit emulation layer, all right, that emulated 64-bit integers, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, as well as floating point, and then I would port over all of Coder's Basilisk, including the floating point code, right? I don't know. The thing is, I might be able to do something where, like, I do 128-bit fixed point, but I don't think so, right? 64-bit fixed point, pardon, right? And then using 128-bit integers to do that, right? But I think that's probably a bad idea, right? Anyway, so, or write a new language, right? Because the thing is, this operating system does need a language on the machine that you can write programs in. I do have a little start to that. If I go to cbass source/lc, I have the beginnings of a little programming language. Right, so I've basically taken all of I've taken these things from Coder's Basilisk's source code, and then I've modified them a bit for TP CPU, and like obviously, for instance, no 64. Right. Oh yeah, I want to update this, right? Anyway, so that's that, right? Oh, by the way, that reminds me. I want to change this. By the way, that is the right thing, right? I'm just making little changes, right? I recently figured out that I should be using 16 as my fixed point precision, just because 15 isn't quite enough. What do I want to edit? Oh, two underscore. I wanted to make this default to 16 instead of 15. So there's 16 bits here, which means it can be plus or minus 32,667. Yeah, so that's what I need to do here. Anyway, and so basically, I was thinking. Okay, anyway, that's enough of that. But anyway, and so this is roughly the operating system plan, right? This step here, I think, this and this are probably going to be the huge things, right? Generally should. Yeah. So anyway, this is what I was thinking for the desktop program, right? The desktop program, for instance, might have the clipboard. I might have Control-C, Control-V stuff be stored inside the desktop program. Yeah, but anyway, so that's the plan here. Let's rebuild the entire TP, rebuild the OS, right? Because I did change something, right? Anyway, but anyway, that's the update on the system, right? I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.